folks, and welcome back to Chris Reviews. So this week I have another Sanmartin in for review, part of their Explorer colour series and more than a little Tudor inspired. This is the SN021B-2. So just quickly before we start, if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel and it's always much appreciated. So without any further ado, let's get into the review. Well, another review and another new model from Sanmartin. Well, almost new model. I'll come back to that in a second. So, as I mentioned in the intro, this 21B2 is heavily influenced, I think, from the Tudor Blackbay. As you can see, very similar indeed, with the exception of that curved text at the 6 and the Sanmartin having larger hour markers, albeit in a very similar style to the Tudor. But pretty clear, I think, where this one gets its inspiration from. Now, shortly after this 21B2 model was released, Sanmartin then went on to release the 21B3, and I think it's worth taking a quick look at it, as the B3 is virtually identical, but for some small differences. So the B3 comes in three colourways: black, green and Tiffany blue, with the black and gilt option as a matte dial, and the green and Tiffany blue with enamel dials. They also all have printed hex logos on the dial instead of the silver applied logo as is on my B2. And while I realise this is a different model from mine, I think it's worth mentioning as they're very similar and could potentially be worth considering also if you fancied giving one of these Blackbay inspired models a try. So dimensions wise, we have a 37mm wide case, 11.3mm thickness. It has 20mm lugs, not 19 as stated in some of the information about this watch. We've got a 46mm lug to lug, and on the supplied bracelet, this one comes in at 125 grams. Now, price-wise, there is two movement options as per usual for Sanmartin. We have a PT5000, which will set you back £262, which equates to around $341 US, and there's also that Swiss SW200 movement that will set you back £367, or approximately $478 US. Now, timekeeping, I went with the PT5000. Mine is keeping a very impressive +2 seconds per day. Now, I purchased mine from the Sanmartin Store on AliExpress. It's available in either matte black or Tiffany blue colours, and with either that PT5000 or the SW200 movement. I'll leave a link to the Sanmartin Store and to this 21B2 down below. You can check them out if you wish. So packaging wise, you receive the new style Sanmartin cylinder. You also get the small tool set and the keychain, as well as the instruction booklet and the signed and stamped warranty card. Sanmartin offering 2 years international warranty. Now, looking at the watch as a whole, we have a solid 316L stainless steel construction throughout. For that case, the smooth bezel, that crown and the bracelet. It's all finished to a high standard, as you would expect from Sanmartin. The case is brushed on top with polished sides, and the polishing is flawless. Very nice level of finish to those case sides. Now, the same is true for that polished smooth bezel. Again, well finished, and the high polish contrasts nicely with the brushed portion of the case. And I am very pleased once again to see the Sanmartin hex logo on the crown. It's consistent, it ties the whole watch together, and it looks great. And the bracelet is also very nice and feels great when it's on your wrist, thanks to a nice taper from 20mm at the lugs down to 16mm at that buckle. Now, once again, we have that shorter clasp, which I think looks great on this 37mm case, but with only the 2 adjustment holes, you could struggle potentially to get that perfect fit. Now, covering the dial is a fantastic piece of domed top hat sapphire crystal. The sapphire is really nice on this, heaps of AR, it keeps that dial visible at pretty much all angles. And speaking of the dial, it's another high quality and well finished dial from Sanmartin. As discussed, we have those Tudor inspired hour markers and they are immaculate, those silver surrounds sitting nicely against the matte black dial itself. There's a printed minute track around the outside and the applied silver Sanmartin hex logo at the 12 along with that text there at the 6. And of course, being Blackbay inspired, we have that Snowflake handset. Now, I know Snowflake handsets can cause varied opinions, but for me, I think they look great. They fit the overall look of this watch perfectly, and being Sanmartin, the quality is excellent. I especially like the capped seconds hand covering the pinion there. I also love how this is a no-date dial. It's balanced and it just helps ooze a little bit of sophistication in my opinion. And here it is on my 7.5 inch wrist. That 37mm case size is just so comfortable. The case back is solid and it's also nice and flat, so definitely adds to how well this one wears. And at just over 11mm thick, it feels and it looks fantastic. I think the taper on the bracelet also adds to how this wears, and it's always so much comfier to wear a bracelet with a taper, I think, than with no taper at all. It is an all-round pleasure to have this 21B2 model on your wrist. And of course, let's have a look at that lume. Sanmartin state that this is BGW9 lume on those hour markers and the hands. And of course, just look at it. It doesn't take much to activate that blue glow and it looks impressive. The hands and hour markers match perfectly and it's also very long lasting. Another example of outstanding lume from Sanmartin. So what about the negatives for this model? Well, in all honesty, there isn't anything that I don't like about this, and I do think they have pretty much nailed it. The only potential negative for some is that smaller clasp. With only those 2 holes of micro adjust, it may mean that some wrist sizes might struggle to achieve that perfect fit, but I guess there is always that larger clasp option from Sanmartin if that did turn out to be an issue. Now, another thing that I found, and it's not necessarily a negative, but more something to look out for, is that when I received this watch, all of the screws in that bracelet and the links were very loose. Now, I have seen this before on a number of occasions from different watch brands, and I always make it a habit to go round the whole bracelet and make sure that all the screws are properly tightened. I did that with this watch and I've had no issues since it was done, but it is a great habit to get into with any watch that has screw-in links. So what about the verdict for this 21B2? Well, as I'm sure you can tell, I am a big fan of Sanmartin, and this one is no different. In fact, I think this one is the best that I have reviewed yet. Now yes, of course, on balance this is not a cheap watch, with prices starting at £262, $341 for that PT5000 and rising up quite considerably to £367 or $478 for the Swiss SW200. But put one of these on your wrist and you will see and feel where that money has gone. And even although this is a bit more expensive than your average AliExpress watch, it is much more than a bit better in terms of quality and finish than your average AliExpress watch, in my opinion, of course. This does wear, perform, look and feel like a much more expensive watch than it is. The level of finish on that case itself, the glorious piece of top hat sapphire and that superb bracelet all combine to make the watch very appealing. It feels great to wear, it's solid, comfortable and perfectly proportioned. Now, if you like the look of this, I'll leave a link down below to the Sanmartin Store on AliExpress. I had a very positive experience buying from them, and while you're there, why not check out those 21B-2 models as well. They have pretty interesting enamel dials on two of them, and I do like the look of that printed hex logo as well. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit too close to this one for me to justify getting one in, but they do look nice. I think either this B2 or those B3 models would be a great choice if you like the look. And there we have it. Well done on making it to the end of another review. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I really do appreciate it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next review.